Hi, Moon.
Hi, Chloe. It's so good to finally sit down with you. I've been really looking forward to this conversation. So, still on our bare minimum series, I asked a couple of guys what they considered to be the female bare minimum because we keep talking about the bare minimum for guys, but nobody really talks about the bare minimum for women.
These men raised really interesting points, things I wasn't expecting at all.
Really, really interesting points. Seeing men raise points that weren't tied to our bodies or finances was such a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Previously, we talked about self-respect, which was the most mentioned. Yeah, I learned so much from that episode.
Totally. So let's talk emotional responsibility. The majority of responses touched on this topic. Being emotionally responsible means you can communicate your feelings without manipulation.
Yeah.
You take accountability instead of playing the victim. And you have the ability to regulate your emotions. I don't know if I can fully regulate my emotions yet, but these days I'm trying my very best to be accountable and never play the victim. Should I share my experience with this?
Yeah.
Please, go ahead. Regulating your emotions is definitely a skill. I don't want to blame the way I grew up. I mean, there are people who grew up in worse situations with more reactive parents who can still regulate their emotions. Over the past few years, lack of emotional regulation has caused me real problems. I realize every time I lose my cool and let my emotions drive, I regret it.
Totally can relate.
Yeah, this applies to spending money too. Emotional purchases are almost always regretted. Your emotions will tell you you need this when you actually don't. So for any decision that isn't paramount, like it's not life or death, if it's taking a big emotional toll on me or pushing me toward vanity, I won't make that decision in the moment. Even though everything in me is screaming to do it, even though my mind is giving me strong reasons why I should, deep down I know that decision isn't best for me right then.
Exactly.
I think the greatest weakness of a woman is her emotions. I believe that if you can regulate your emotions as a woman, you can do anything.
Yeah.
The thing is, being driven by emotions isn't inherently bad. It becomes bad when those emotions aren't regulated. Ask your friend who's stuck with an obviously cheating, extremely toxic boyfriend why she's still in the relationship. All her reasons will point to one thing: she's in love with him.
Yeah.
That's why some women sit there and take all the shit their boyfriend dishes out. It's sad, very. Then there's the girl in your street who's misbehaving. You're probably wondering what her issue is. It's usually her emotions expressing themselves as insecurity. When women feel insecure, they overcompensate for what they think they're lacking. This shows up as doing too much in relationships or seeking external validation, especially from men. This manifests in different ways, such as posting raunchy videos online, compromising their dignity for male attention, or staying in romantic situations that don't serve them just because they're afraid of losing validation. This is exactly why it's crucial for parents to build their daughter's self-esteem. We all have insecurities. Everybody does, or at least most people do. The reason people seek validation is they have this compulsion to get others to validate them. Emotional regulation shows up in different areas: emotional spending, emotional attachment, emotional compulsion to get validation from the opposite sex, emotional outbursts. To regulate all of this, you have to make hard decisions and stick to them. And that's the hardest part. Some people express emotions by lashing out. When people push you to the wall, the best thing you can do is control your emotions around them. Do not react immediately. Wait, then react later. Why? Because sometimes the only thing they want is your reaction. When you react, you're simply giving them what they want. You've handed them full control, and now they're pulling your strings. Most times, reacting immediately escalates everything. You overreact, your response doesn't match what triggered you, and then you look crazy while the person you're reacting to looks like a saint, even if they were the instigator. Then you end up even angrier because people keep telling you it's enough. Here's what I think you should do. Wait. Think about the best course of action that'll give you your desired result, whether that's stopping their disrespect for good or changing the situation at hand. Now, this doesn't mean you let people walk all over you, but have a policy. Don't react immediately. When you do, things escalate, you face unintended consequences, and you might be the one with more to lose. So how do you suggest we regulate stronger emotions like love. For emotions like love, love can be very strong and compelling. Of course, you should go all out for your loved one. You can love freely because being too guarded takes out the very essence of love. And that's exactly what's wrong with the dating scene right now. But keep in mind, at the dating or talking stage, you're vetting your partner to see if he's worthy. Don't start acting like you can't stop seeing him or acting obsessed. Which just comes off as a red flag. Huge red flag. I'm not saying don't love, but don't allow a man to use you unkindly. And then you, because of love, you end up begging, crying, embarrassing yourself, ready to accept the bare minimum because you feel you can't survive without him. Be emotionally healthy enough to walk away when you need to, even when you're still in love. Sometimes that person you love just isn't right for you. There are few relationships you get to choose in life. You don't choose your parents or siblings, but you get to choose your life partner. Be intentional about who you choose. Don't settle for someone who isn't loving you right simply because you're emotionally attached. The possibility of what could be with someone who's absolutely in love with you is too beautiful to throw away for anything less. I don't think it's a worthy trade-off. You won't die of a broken heart. You'll heal. And if you keep working on yourself, you'll find someone who treats you right. Then in hindsight, you'll be thankful you made that decision instead of depriving yourself of genuine love, which is so beautiful, by the way. It really is. Now, to balance this out, this doesn't mean you bail at the slightest issue your partner has, hoping for another love. That's intolerance, not love. But we're women, we know the ones that just aren't it. The ones who say they love and respect you, but their actions don't match their words, those are the ones I'm talking about. You're absolutely right. I've seen women do crazy things when they're in love. People get driven by emotions, and you're in your lowest state when you're solely driven by emotions. I remember visiting a hair salon once. The stylist was spiraling and going ballistic over an issue with her boyfriend. She did such a terrible job on my hair, and it was embarrassing. I never went back. And here's the worst part. The more you try to pacify these men by accommodating their excesses and overcompensating for their mistakes, the more they lose respect for you and go on a rampage. Sometimes you have to weigh the trade-off. What are you trading your self-respect for? Most times it's not worth it and leads to unintended consequences. Sometimes men do what they do because they know you'll accommodate it. They know that instead of being reprimanded, you'll reward them, cooking more, having premarital sex with them, just doing too much generally. And if you're unlucky enough to meet one who's really terrible, he'll tell his friends how obsessed you are and use you to score cheap points. You just have to weigh what you're trading your self-respect for. Ladies, weigh the trade-offs. So in a case where you're not pleased with your partner's attitude, how do you express your feelings without being manipulative? Also, how do you stay accountable when you know you're in the wrong? Expressing your feelings without being manipulative truly does apply heavily in relationships. For example, some women realize their partner has a weakness for their tears, so they resort to crying anytime they need to avoid accountability. They use it to evade difficult situations or get what they want. This happened in my relationship with my ex. I'd guilt trip him to get what I wanted. I knew he couldn't stand seeing me cry. So anytime I wanted to get out of something I'd done without taking accountability, I'd just start crying and he wouldn't talk about it anymore. I was getting off the hook, but it was terrible for the relationship. He started holding resentment because he couldn't talk about anything. He didn't show it, but it was piling up inside. With time, it all came crashing out. He started having random angry bursts, and I realized his feelings for me had reduced significantly. This was the result of continuously sweeping everything under the carpet with my crying. That's really honest of you to share. It's important. Some women also use sex to manipulate men, to get money or things they want, or to evade situations that don't favor them. When it's time to express their feelings, these women can't come clean and say, I want this, or I don't like what you're doing. Instead, they nag or throw tantrums just to get a man's attention instead of just communicating.
Exactly.
As a woman who's way above the bare minimum, you should be able to sit with your partner and say, let's talk. I was reading the book of Galatians and I understood love differently. Love is sitting with your partner and expressing your feelings. Like someone said, confront your feelings. Say, you did this thing today and I really didn't like it. I'd appreciate it if you did this instead in such a situation. This works. Clear communication, not going around with an angry face and giving your partner the stink eye.
The stink eye.
There's a meme of a cat giving angry faces captioned, "How women behave." The man asks what's wrong and she just says nothing.
Why not just express your feelings?
They'll give you attitude. You ask, what's up? What's wrong?
Exactly.
And they say nothing. This leads to resentment. The best way is to be emotionally mature and communicate your feelings.
Yeah.
If you're in the wrong, own up and take accountability. It's not just something we talk about, it's something we should actively practice. Exactly. And if you hurt someone, just own up. In my case, I didn't want him to confront me. I didn't want to admit I was wrong and apologize. And it was damaging to our relationship. I understand that sometimes hormones come into play and you tell a man nothing because you don't even know why you're annoyed. That's part of being a woman.
Yeah.
But when it becomes your daily routine, it's a problem.
Yeah.
You become hard to be around.
Yeah.
You're not always expected to be mature, but there's room to be soft, to be a baby. But when it's every single time, it's exhausting. And I know someone who literally wakes up mad at everyone. You're not a morning person, fine. But you're ruining everyone else's morning. When you wake up giving attitude, not responding when people talk to you, you're ruining their day. You're making them feel bad.
That's a problem.
People around her really disliked this. They'd complain that she'd wake up and start giving attitude. What did they do? Nothing. It was just annoying. And I don't know what triggered her moods because it was her daily routine, though later she'd be the one to come speak to you. Imagine your husband has an important contract or work duty that day, and that's the energy you're starting his day with. That's unfair. Things like this will make him start avoiding home because no one wants to constantly feel bad. Also, on lack of accountability, I feel this is becoming a serious problem with women in our generation.
Very serious.
We don't want to take accountability for anything. You go to a man's house, you dress half naked, you enter his room, you get drunk. Yes, even the best of us have probably done things like that. Everyone has had their silly moments. But the only thing that'll make you grow is admitting you made a foolish decision and shouldn't do it again. If you don't take accountability and keep blaming only the man, I'm not saying he's blameless, he's definitely to blame, 100%, but don't keep putting yourself in the same situation repeatedly, the world will sympathize with you, but you'll have to live with yourself. You can't take it back. I read a story recently about a girl who got drunk and followed her ex to his place. That's not even the problem. The problem is she started blaming someone else for allowing her to leave. As a woman, I don't think it's smart to get drunk where you're likely to be vulnerable. You always have to remember you have a lot to lose. Start thinking about the consequences of your actions in the worst case scenario. Don't intentionally put yourself in vulnerable positions. Don't go out late at night alone. And I'm also speaking to myself because I walk at night a lot. Try to avoid these vulnerable situations because the truth is when something bad happens, people will sympathize, yes, but you'll be the victim. You'll suffer the consequences. You carry that burden alone. Remember, you're not a kid, you're an adult. And I've heard bizarre stories and people say, oh, she's only 19. No. At 19, you should have basic survival skills. You're not dumb. How does a woman wake up one morning, pack her luggage, go to a man's place to stay, be intimate with him daily, then later say she never liked him and he victimized her? I'm not saying there's no room for mistakes or that I can't stand people who make them. My point is, you won't grow as a person if you don't admit your part in situations. What's worse is such people never take accountability for anything in their lives. It's always someone else's fault. They don't play any part in it. Here's what you should know. You can't afford some types of foolishness as a woman. You don't have that luxury. Unless you want to live as a victim. And who wants that?
Nobody.
The problem is this girl blamed the man and moved in with another man. If she'd initially taken responsibility for her actions, she would have learned. At some point, you have to tell yourself the truth. Even if you're lying to everyone else, be brutally honest with yourself at every point in time. Only Jesus Christ lived a perfect life on earth. Everyone has done really foolish things at different points in their lives. There's no shame in that. Just don't lie to yourself because you want to soothe your ego. People have done stuff they regret, even the most seemingly perfect people. The only thing that makes you grow and not repeat those mistakes is taking accountability for what led to the undesired consequences and deciding to stop it. After an experience with my ex, I had to sit with myself and ask why I got attracted and attached to someone that toxic in the first place. I recognized a pattern and I realized that whenever I'm emotionally vulnerable, I let my guards down and start being really open to people. So I made a decision. Anytime I'm going through something in life, I'll be more guarded because that's when I'm weakest in my judgment of men's character, even people in general.
I feel like this actually applies to most women.
As a woman especially, it's very important to take accountability so you don't get thrown around. Stop blaming other people for everything that's gone wrong in your life. Take accountability for your habits. You say you were bullied, that's why you have a bad relationship with food. But right now, that habit isn't serving you. The resultant obesity is affecting your mental and physical health. You're dealing with shame, bullying, low self-esteem, everything that comes with that. Nobody will share these consequences with you, not even your bullies. You're still suffering from what your bullies did even after so long, which means they're still in control. You don't want that. Only you can take responsibility for your life and say, okay, I'm done with this. I've been doing this wrong. I have to change things.
Even with your finances, you have to accept that you're the reason you're still broke if you're already in your 30s. By the way, don't put undue pressure on yourself, please. But it's not God, it's not your parents. You have to admit you haven't been the best at decision making. Maybe you haven't been audacious enough. Take accountability. Maybe your CV isn't good enough. Just take accountability.
That's an interesting perspective.
True. When I was applying for jobs, I wasn't getting any responses. It was crazy. I used a CV checker and saw a big fat F. I was wondering how I prepared a CV that scored an F. I had to redo my entire CV. After that, things changed. So many people have issues with taking accountability, men and women. You're trying your best, but guess what? Your best might not be good enough. So you probably have to do even better. If you don't accept it, you might never get past a certain point in your life. You should know that whatever you're seeing right now, whatever you're making excuses for or shifting blame to, someone somewhere had it worse but succeeded. That's an interesting perspective. You don't want your 20s just passing by and finding yourself in every situation you hoped never to be in. Guess how long ago COVID was? 6 years ago. Almost a decade. That's how fast time passes. If you don't take accountability, your life will literally pass by and you'll keep looking for everyone else to blame except yourself. The best thing you can do for yourself is make your problems about you. Make it something you can control so you actually control it. Ask yourself, where did I go wrong? What should I have done better? I know life happens. Bad things happen to people, even good, hardworking people for no reason. But by all means, let it be that there's nothing you didn't do that's legally and morally right to create the life you desire, of course, with God's help. God is ready to do his part. It's left for you to do yours.
Amen to that.
After reviewing my relationship with my former partner, I realized I played my own part. Yes, he did stuff, but I allowed it. I permitted it by staying there, repeating myself every single time he did what he did. That's very true. Not taking accountability keeps you stuck. Even Jim Rohn used to say it, admit that it's your fault. Sometimes we blame other people because we're scared of hurting our egos. We don't want to accept that we're not as good or wise as we think we are. We don't want to accept that we're capable of making foolish, silly decisions that can literally ruin us. And some of these traits are passed down from our parents. People who see their parents do anything but accept they were wrong subconsciously copy it. Generational patterns.
Exactly. I guess it's time to unlearn it. This was such an interesting session. Thank you, Chloe.
Gained a lot from what we discussed. In our next session, we'll be raising the next point on our bare minimum series.
Subscribe and turn on your notifications so you won't miss new videos. Share and like this video so it can reach more people who need it.
Please drop a comment on how this helped you, and you can as well suggest topics you'd like us to touch on in our next series.
Thanks for watching.
We love you all.
We love you all.